Some that are saying they want it on, asking for it if it's on repeat. Obviously, it's going to be on this platform, then it's going to be put on a YouTube channel probably by the end of this week. But quite a lot of people are interested in your story and this topic as well, because I do think kind of the way we talk to ourselves is absolutely massive in any form of anything we do.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's have a look. No one's jumped on yet. Right. Hi there, guys. This is SJ Hartshorn, and welcome to another podcast. Now, I am so excited to get my guest on today, Jackie Jones. We go back quite a few years. Jackie Jones is a psychotherapist, and she has got an amazing story of resilience and transformation. And what Jackie has done, she's dedicated her life in understanding human behavior, emotional intelligence. And this is something that I think in every aspect of life, business, work, personal relationships, self-development, growth, this is something that we all can take a lot from. So I've been following Jackie's story for quite a while, and we spoke a few weeks ago, and I says, I need you on my podcast. So Jackie, hi there.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay, I'm so excited.
You sound very intelligent, I must say.
You what, sorry?
You made me sound very intelligent.
Well, I was actually going to say, I bet you can intro yourself better than I can, because I'm not.
No, probably not as intelligent as what that was.
No? Okay, well, I'll do your intro then for all your future endeavours.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a transactional analysis psychotherapist, which is easier to do than what it is to say. It just means that I'm trained in how to analyse transactions with people. That's basically what transactional analysis is. I trained at the Manchester Institute of Psychotherapy under the amazing Bob Cook from 2012 to 2016, but I started seeing clients in 2014, so it's coming up to 10 years that I've been a psychotherapist.
Brilliant. I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very old, but yeah. So that's my day job. That's what I do. I see individuals, I see couples, I see families, I see children. There's pretty much not anybody that I would turn away. So that's where I am now in my therapy room. Yeah, and then in 2021, I started noticing some changes in my body. Thought it was menopause, so didn't really pay much attention to it. But it was just something niggling in the back of my mind. So I went to the doctors, and after a bit of toing and froing, just as COVID hit, I started having some tests or whatever, and they found out that I had stage 4 ovarian cancer, which was a bit of a sideswipe. Wasn't what I was expecting.
It's more like a hit with a bat.
Yeah, well, I'm still not sure that I don't know. I think it sounds a bigger deal than what it actually is, to be perfectly honest. So
yeah, I think
that I'm living with.
I think you don't know until it happens to you.
Absolutely.
I really don't think you know. And, it's okay for me to stand there and say, oh, well, if it happened to me, I'd take this approach and that approach. I do think mindset is a powerful thing. I really, really do. And I think a lot of people that, are able to see the light, the positives, and actually work on changing themselves, because I know we'll talk about this, the things you've done to your lifestyle would have made a massive impact. But there's a lot of people that think, why me, sign myself off. And I always think that, that is a huge separations out there, but you don't know which person you're going to be. But hopefully this kind of like podcast today is going to give people a lot of kind of empowerment, self-confidence, that kind of thing, that they can think that when they come across life hurdles, not as dramatic as that, but just small life hurdles, how can we handle it? How can we take a outside approach and looking in and, move forward?
Yeah, I think a life hurdle is a life hurdle. I don't know whether they're big or small. It's how we interpret them. Something that seems, big to me might seem quite small to somebody else. So I think it's all relational. Let's put it that way. But I run a private membership similar to what you do for people, and I think there's probably 4, if not 5, ladies in there that suffer really badly from health anxiety. So when I was diagnosed, I thought, wow, this is going to be really triggering for them, because we meet up online once a week, and they were seeing the changes in me from where I was to losing my hair to going through chemo and everything. And the one thing that I took from that was that they're not frightened of cancer anymore, because they've seen me and my journey. And I think it's the fear of the unknown for a lot of people that's scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't that bad, to be perfectly honest. I feel like a bit of a fraud sometimes when I say I've got stage 4 ovarian cancer. Yeah.
Wow. But what changes did you make? Obviously, we're going to go into kind of the topic of today about our, self-compassion, over-criticism, how we talk to ourselves and limiting beliefs and all that we're going to cover. But tell me about the changes that you made, because you've always been a healthy person, but you've made quite a lot of No,
not at all. I lived my life.
Well, since I've known you, which is obviously So as long as I've known you, I've seen you as being quite a healthy person. So you made some big changes.
I'm a firm believer now in that. Do you know what I mean? If we give our body what it needs and we get out of the way, it's a wonderful machine. I did not get out of the way, and I fed it all the wrong stuff. Literally, ate all the beige food, not a lot of vegetables, lots of processed stuff. What didn't do it any favors at all. I was overweight, and once I got my diagnosis, I'm not sure if you can see if I also can you see Carl on that picture at the back?
Yes, I can. Yes,
that's my son. That was at Everest Base Camp. He was a driving force for me when I got diagnosed. Luckily he was contracting, so he took a month off work, and he read I think it was 8 books on cancer within a week, and said, right, Mum, this is what we're going to do. So right from the get-go, we had an idea on how we can kind of stop cancer in its tracks, or try to do that and try to reverse the damage that I had done to my body. Because basically, we've all got cancer in us. Mm-hmm. And if we look after our body, which I would advocate everybody does, our immune system...
Yeah, with a glass of wine.
A little of what you fancy does you good. It's everything in moderation.
Yes,
but our body's immune system is built to fight infection and to fight things like cancer. It's when we overwhelm it, that's when tumours and cancer kind of erupt and do things, that we don't want them to do. And I was feeding my body all the wrong stuff. So now I'm whole food, plant-based. I don't have any dairy, vegan all the way. I do that. We're both, fond of the odd ice bath now and then. I hate mine every morning. I hate my ice bath, but I still do it.
The same as me? Do you have an argument with yourself every morning? Like you say, well, why are you doing it? Yeah, but it's good for you. But what are you trying to achieve? Yeah, but just get in it. It's not that bad. You'll be fine afterwards. And even my daughter has said, will you stop arguing with yourself? Yeah. But I did overdo it. I reached out to Jackie quite a bit when I first started, because I just got far too competitive myself. Once I was in it, I was like, you know what? I can do 20 minutes in here. I made myself ill, but I'm now good with it, and I've got a bit of a cold, so I've not been in it.
Fair play to you. Well done. Yeah. That's the other thing that I've learned, is that I do listen to my body. I probably do about 4.5 minutes in the ice bath now. I'm getting a lot better at meditating while I'm in there and just, being in that space. But I started off and it was 30 seconds. It was literally get in and get out. Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? But it's really good for inflammation, and I've noticed a massive difference. If I've got aches and pains or anything, I'm straight in there, and it does help me. Yeah. So I've lost probably almost 20 kilos since just before my diagnosis to where I am now, and it's not the cancer or the chemo that's done that. It's me changing my lifestyle. I'm out in nature a lot. I go for a walk every day. It's a full-time job having cancer, put it that way.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, supplements, I take off-label drugs.
Do you find that obviously what you studied, was it 10 years ago, you said, when you started doing psychotherapy?
Yeah.
Have you found that you've done all the studying, but have you found going through this has actually made it better? Is that the right word?
So. Yeah. One of the things that I've learned a lot along the way is, that we've all got a life script. It's a transactional analysis thing, but basically our life script is formed before the age of 7. So we decide who we're going to be in the world before the age of 7. So you as an adult now, you're taking advice from a 7-year-old. Which doesn't bode very well. A lot of the the look on your face then. So it's like literally, I don't know, how old are your girls?
6 and 10. So it's basically like my 6-year-old.
Yeah, it's like you asking her for advice on life, love, and everything in between. It's not going to be the best because we're very black and white thinking when we're kids. You know, you either love me or you hate me. It's good or it's bad.
Well,
but when amazing. We're all, say again.
That's amazing, though, isn't it? Don't you think? Like, if you know, as a child, to have that, just no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do we stop? Why do we stop doing that as an adult? We'll start doing things and self-sabotaging or sacrificing our wants to please other people. Whereas when you're a kid, you're like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that.
Absolutely. So yeah, 100%. And it's about, you know, when we get to a certain, there's something called ages and stages as well that we go through. And it's the age between 6 and 12 is when there's a massive shift in us psychologically, because then we start to compare ourselves to other people. We start to adapt our behavior and all this sort of stuff. So that's when particularly little girls will, you know, want to dress the same as the best friend. They want the same coat or the same bag at school and all this sort of stuff because we want to belong to something.
Yes.
So all the time, psychologically, we're forming, and I just find it fascinating.
Do you think this is that age period that you said, the like 7 to 12? Do you think that is a real pinnacle age in terms of when kind of limiting beliefs start? This is what I kind of, obviously I have done some life coaching. I did that just to support my beauty business coaching. That's what I did because I felt that a lot of people that I was coaching when I was very much like, do this, do this, do this. I've got a lot of people, there was a lot of personal barriers which were stopping them move forward. So I want to understand these limiting beliefs, understand, you know, life's challenges a little bit more so I can coach them that way. But there's always something in the back of my mind of me not being smart enough. And it wasn't that somebody said you're not smart, but it was my sister was really smart and up here A grades and I wasn't. So this limiting belief straight away was put on me from a really young age. That I was always, either I was in comparison mode, teachers were, or my parents were. So that stopped me doing the coaching as soon as I wanted to. It stopped me developing my online platform. It stopped me writing my little ebook because I'm not smart enough.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's the decisions that we make when we're younger. So exactly what you said, it's not that anybody may have directly said to you, you're not smart enough, but seeing your sister do all those achievements, you kind of compared yourself to her and made the decision, I'm not smart.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not something that somebody is, well, it could be something that somebody said,
sometimes but in my case, it is. Yeah.
In my case, I don't remember anybody that ever said, you're not as smart as your sister. Or you're not smart enough. I don't remember anyone saying that. It was just the pigeonhole that I or society kind of almost put me in. But let's talk more about limiting beliefs and why. Yeah, let's talk more about limiting beliefs. Do you come across this a lot with your clients?
100% all the time. One of the things that I refer to an awful lot is that internal critic that we've got. We've all got that. Some people call it mind monkeys or the internal critic or whatever it is. In transactional analysis, I don't know how much you know about it, but we've got a parent ego state, an adult ego state, and a child ego state. So that in a dialogue that we have a lot of the time that's usually negative is coming from our parent ego state. And it's things that we absorbed as we were growing up from our parents or main caregivers that we don't filter. So a lot of my limiting beliefs aren't actually mine. They belong to somebody else that I just picked up along the way. And that is the thing to me that fascinates me, that I live my life on the standards, the beliefs, the values, the morals
of others
that aren't mine. It's a generational thing.
Of course it is. Yeah, definitely.
So when we realize that we start to question it and we're aware of the fact that this actually isn't my belief, it becomes a lot easier to put them down.
Yeah. Because you know, totally, we do follow suit.
Yeah,
we follow what society, what parents, what everybody's done. You know, you don't have to look at the whole process of go to school, get your grades, A levels, university, work till retirement, get a mortgage,
Yeah.
Get a mortgage, pay off as quick as you can.
Got to be a homeowner.
You know, we're all told that. But when we have these little kind of like demons, these little limiting beliefs, like not smart enough, not confident enough, not pretty enough, or whatever.
Yeah.
What can people do to kind of to challenge this and to break through this?
The biggest thing for me is awareness. It's knowing that you have a limiting belief in the first place, because I think a lot of the time we're just not aware of them. We just know that some things don't feel right. You know, for me, it's it sounds ridiculous, but it's a fear of success.
Yeah.
And it took me an awful long time to realize that I had a fear of success. But in my life, I've just been on the cusp of succeeding in something and I've sabotaged it, because people like me don't do that. People like me aren't successful.
Yeah, I have to remind myself of this, because this is how I feel sometimes. And it's almost like when I've got something big that's going to happen, I'm like, well, what if this is the one? And then it's like, oh,
Panic.
I'm just a little pit village in Armthorpe. This can't happen to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's obviously we want that, but then we need to. I think you know, like you said, it's being aware of them, but it's also taking the small little steps to challenge that. You know, like you're not just born confident or you're not just born smart. It's something that is developed and learned. And if you don't try and turn it into a little bit of a challenge, think about what can I do to make myself feel a little bit more confident. And just do something small daily, and then you'll then start to shatter this limiting belief. That's how I kind of look at limiting beliefs.
I think confidence is something we can fake it until we make it.
Yeah.
Confidence, we can learn things. We can, do you know what I mean? We can model ourselves on other people and learn how they do things. For me, it's about self-esteem. It's the stuff, our self-worth and our self-esteem, the stuff that's inside.
So let's talk more about like self-compassion then, and self-love and self-esteem. Let's talk more about that.
Yeah, for me, it's a big thing that I've had to work through, because one of the things that, again, with transactional analysis is we have 5 driver behaviors. And those are the things that when we're stressed, when we're ill, when we're overwhelmed, we'll plug into our driver behaviors. So there's be strong, please others, hurry up, try hard, and be perfect. We all fall into those categories. We have access to all of them, but usually it's 1 or 2 that we favour above others.
Okay.
So for me, I'm a massive be strong, and I'm a huge please others as well. So I was a foster carer, I was a nursery nurse, I'm a psychotherapist now. So I'm a massive people pleaser. I want to help other people.
Yeah.
So it's knowing these parts of myself that I can then start to be compassionate and love myself more. When you've got a be strong driver, which I'd hazard a guess you've got one of these as well. I don't want to psychoanalyze you, but I'd hazard a guess
if you want to do like a little live psychoanalyst session, it might uncover a lot of stuff, but we can go for it. I'm up for that.
But when we've got a be strong driver, we think our way out of things. We're not very good at expressing emotions. We see it as a weakness sometimes. I personally don't like being vulnerable, so I will put on a face. You know, if anything big happens to me, I will go in a room and shut the door behind me, let it all out, and then come out as if nothing's happened to me.
Okay.
And I know where say again.
I can't do that. I let things out more. So even though I think I've got the be strong, I it's almost like I can do it for a while, and then that's it. I like it. See it.
I like it. Yeah, for me, I'm really good at it. I don't like talking about my problems when I'm going through them. Particularly with my cancer diagnosis, I felt ashamed when I was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know how to tell my clients. I didn't know how to tell my family. I kept it from a lot of people because I didn't want them to think differently of me. I felt like I'd failed at life somehow because I'd got this. I'd never even heard of ovarian cancer. I didn't know it was a thing until I got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I know where my be strong driver comes from because I've got an older sister. She's 3 years older than me, but she was born with a disability.
Okay.
So she was always the broken kid and I was always the okay kid. So it was my job to be strong and to make sure that everybody else was okay.
Yeah.
So for me, self-love, self-compassion, and anything to do with me was really difficult.
Okay. So how do you overcome that then? If somebody that's listening to this now feels that they're in that same category, how can you overcome it, or is it something just about being aware of it?
Again, it's awareness and it's a slow process, but it took me an awful long time. And it was when I was training to be a psychotherapist, it takes 4 years to train to be a psychotherapist. And
Wow.
I had to be in personal therapy for 4 years because in this country, to be a psychotherapist, you've got to be in personal therapy. So I learned an awful lot about myself. So it's about learning to be compassionate with the younger part of myself, the one that was hurt, the one that didn't get the attention that she needed. So self-love and everything comes from a place of I need to be 100% in order to give other people the best of me.
Yes.
That was the only way I could do it, because
So
otherwise it felt
first before you fill others.
absolutely. And that there's a reason why they tell you on a plane to put your own mask on before you help anybody else.
Same thing.
Because we have to be 100% in order to help other people. That made sense to me because otherwise it felt selfish.
Yeah, I
For
get
me
that.
to prioritize myself, for me to be compassionate to myself was selfish.
So what about somebody that is trying to obviously I'm going to kind of relate this in terms of business, because it's obviously most people that are watching are at the stage of developing and the business. There's people out there that are I wish I'm a lot of people that are watching this will know who they are. There's specific people, and the ones that are listening on this on repeat will probably know. There's a lot of people that have a lot of self-doubt when it comes to putting themselves out there in terms of out of their comfort zone. They're amazing at what they do, but they are trying to put themselves out there, and they are then just riddled with comparison with other people, self-doubt. Then obviously procrastination kicks in, then overwhelm kicks in, they pull back, and then that's it. I'm not doing that. So how would you, is there any tips that you can give people that are at this stage where they know they need to be pushing forward, they want to do it for them, for their future, but they are riddled with this, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth this, and then they end up pulling back? Have you got any tips for them?
Well, there's a couple of things. The whole procrastinating and self-sabotage and everything else is a protective mechanism. We're trying to protect ourselves from the unknown because we don't know how to be successful.
Yep.
And when I say we, I'm talking about me as well. If we've got self-doubt and we're always comparing ourselves to others, we don't know how to be successful. So it's a massive step to go from where I am now to being successful. First is that, understanding that. The other thing is, one of the things that I say an awful lot to clients is when you've got that niggling voice in your head, whose voice is it to start off with? For me, there's always that voice that says things like, you can't do that. People like us don't do that. It's not for you. You'll fail. All those sort of voices. And
so is that a parent? Is it you? Yeah. Is it a teacher?
Yeah, it's anybody but me. It's not my voice. It's not me that's saying that. It's something that I've picked up. It's that limiting belief again. And for me, I know it's my mum, because my mum is really risk averse. My dad was really entrepreneurial. He would, literally we went bankrupt so many times when I was growing up. Whereas my mum is really risk averse. So I've constantly got this battle in my head between my mum and my dad. There's part of me that says, yes, we can do this. And then there's another part that goes, oh, no, we can't.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I say an awful lot to clients is take it to court. And when I say that, it's like, if you have that thought, we can't do this, or you've got that self-doubt, take it to court literally and think of a time where you did do something that was out of your comfort zone. Think of a time where you did succeed. So it's about challenging the thoughts when you have them with proof.
Yeah.
Because we can all find something. It's like when we're anxious, it's the fear of the fear. Do you know what I mean? But we've all survived 100% of the worst days of our life.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. If you look back and think about the times when you have broke through a huge challenge when you didn't expect to break through it. We've all got that we can compare to.
Yeah. And the other thing is that as human beings, we're negatively biased. The times where we have succeeded, the times when we have achieved, we forget them. It's the times that we haven't that we hang on to.
I know. And I say this so much, and I don't do it enough, but I now do it every year, but I'm trying to do it a lot more often, even on like a monthly basis or weekly basis. Write down what I've done.
Yeah.
Actually write down what I've achieved this week, because you only focus on what you haven't achieved. So I've tried to get in to do a big talk with a company this week, and I've been rejected, and that's all I've been thinking about. I'm like, the bastards, why have they rejected me?
Right, I agree, they are bastards.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm forgetting that next week I've got a really huge talk, a massive talk, but I'm like, no, why have they rejected me? And then I start thinking I'm not good enough. Why, So, but then there's the moments you're right. You have to sit down and say, right, what have I done good this month? Yeah. Like, what have I achieved in life that's good? Because there'll be more good than bad.
Absolutely. But it goes against the grain, because again, it's kind of, you're blowing your own trumpet or all this sort of stuff. We're taught, whether it's a British thing or not, but we're taught to play down our achievements and our accomplishments. No, bloody embrace them.
Yeah.
If you've done it, then stick it on your bloody CV and acknowledge the fact that you have achieved something. But that goes back to caveman times. That's literally in our DNA, that we notice the bad stuff for our survival, but we don't need to do that anymore.
No. I don't know who it was with. I had a talk with somebody. It was my podcast. It was donkeys ago. And it was more about people that struggle to actually express the good things that they've done or sell themselves well.
Yeah.
These guys are just be arrogant. Because even if somebody who's not an arrogant person tries to be arrogant, it still won't come across arrogant. It'll just come across as you selling the good parts of you. But to yourself, you'll feel arrogant as hell by saying, I'm an award-winning beauty business coach and I've That would come across arrogant, but it wouldn't be arrogant. So, when he said that, I thought, you know what? So we should gloat more about, what we've done good.
Yeah, there's another thing as well that there's a chap called Michael Neal who I follow. I do an awful lot of his stuff, and he did a course that I did probably about 6 or 7 years ago called Creating the Impossible. And his idea was we aim for something that's way out of our atmosphere. So you're trying to create the impossible. So say, for example, I say, right, this year I am going to make £5 million this year. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. What do I need to do in order to create £5 million? So you start to think creatively and outside the box. And doing that means that to achieve £5,000 in a month becomes achievable. So it's kind of like aim big, because you will better yourself. If you're aiming to be, the top of your business, you're going to come somewhere between where you are now and that.
And there, But I think it's all like you would believe quite a lot in manifestation and saying things in present tense.
Yeah.
And that is something that I say to people that I coach all the time. I've got my vision statement there, which is all in present tense. I am this, I have this. That is what I do all the time. And what we say to ourselves daily, good or bad, we believe it. So if we're saying more of the good things, that I am a multi-million-pound entrepreneur and I have this.
Absolutely.
And we're saying that more than saying I'm not confident enough, I'm not smart enough.
Yeah.
Our mind is then going to manifest on that good.
Yeah. But it's a work in progress. Do you know what I mean? I can talk all this talk, but just like everybody else, do you know what I mean? For me, it's all about where our state of mind is on that day.
I was just going to say, you can be smashing it 3-4 days in a row, and then something will happen which is out of your control, and you are then, I totally agree with that. So this is also another thing that kind of comes up a lot, like things that we can't control. I read something and I shared it on TikTok the other week, actually. I'm not sure whether you would have seen it. And it was about when people get so overwhelmed or end up being in a bad headspace based on things that are happening at that moment, whether it be friends, family, life, work, business. And the simple quote this guy said is, write them all down on a piece of paper. Every single thing that's in your head, write it on a piece of paper, and then cross out what is not within your control.
Yeah.
And just by going through that simple task of, whatever it may be, if it's crossed out because, I don't know, somebody's been a twat to you or whatever, something that wasn't you, cross it out. If it's crossed out, I can't worry about it. I can't let it dictate how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I know obviously it's easier said than done, but actually having that piece of paper and all your thoughts down and just physically crossing one out, it does something to your mind, and for you to enable you to think, you know what, I can't think about that. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. I think the scary thing is, and I don't want to give anybody anxiety who's listening to this, if anybody does suffer from anxiety, is we cannot control anything. The only thing we can control is our response or reaction to an event, a person, a place, or a thing. That's it. Yeah. So everything else is out of our control. And a lot of the stress, overwhelm, and anxiety comes from us trying to control the uncontrollable.
Yes.
Because we like to know what's going to happen. If it's unknown, unpredictable, or whatever, it freaks us out.
Yeah.
So if we come to terms with the fact that actually everything's out of my control, we don't need to worry about it anymore. It's about having trust in ourselves that whatever happens, we will be okay.
Yes.
It's like COVID. None of us, we can plan for everything. None of us saw COVID coming.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Of all the things that we tried to plan for, that was not one of them. Me with ovarian cancer, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's about living the life the way that we want to, without the fear of what potentially could happen.
Yeah.
Because 99.9% of our fears never happen.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. What we fear the most will never happen. Never happen.
No.
And like you said, it's about how we can't control everything, or a lot of things we can't control at all.
Yeah.
But it's how we respond to those things. Yeah. So how we respond to as the good and the bad, everything is how you actually respond in that moment to them parts. But there is lots of things that happen that are, I know you said nothing's in our control, which I agree with to some level. But no, it's your response. I do get it is your response. But if you're getting overwhelmed and you're getting upset or you're feeling anxious because, like when people are watching this now, if they're developing their coaching, I do a lot of clients that are kind of trying to push their permanent makeup business. And a lot of people are scared of putting themselves out there because of what other people might think.
Other people's opinion of us is none of our bloody business. Let them think it.
I know. And I say this all the time, and I say, right, okay, so wait a minute. You're not going to do something because of what somebody thinks. Not even what they're going to do. Not what they're going to do. They're not going to get in a car and come down and beat the crap out of you. You're not going to take action in a part of your life because of what somebody thinks.
Yeah.
And most of the
time,
not
only that, what you think they think.
Yeah. So it goes even deeper. Yeah.
Because we don't know what people are thinking. It's what we think they're thinking.
Exactly. So it's even worse.
Yeah.
And half the time, these people are probably not even, like you say, they don't even think that. It's what
they're busy thinking their own shit. They're probably thinking what other people are thinking about them.
They're probably thinking, what do you think to me thinking of? They're probably thinking
absolutely. It's like a matrix when you think about it. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And it's crazy. And it's. But the thing is, I'm very much the type of person that I would risk doing anything because I don't ever want to regret what if. I'm not a what ifer. I've never ever got to a stage of, what if I would have done that? What would have happened? I'm like, you know what? I'll risk it. And I've had a lot of businesses that have not succeeded, and I've done a lot of things in the past that have gone wrong. But it's like, I tried.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. And I admire you for that, because I am a massive what ifer. Do you know what I mean? But I think one of the things that cancer has taught me is that, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
And, the other thing, if there is anybody listening that any of this is resonating with, is that our thoughts create our feelings 100% of the time. So use your feelings as a barometer of where your thinking is. So if you're feeling, insecure, or if you're feeling incompetent, or if you're feeling not worthy of something, that's because that's where your thoughts are.
Get that.
So that's one of the first things. The other thing that I was going to say was that it's our thoughts about the person, the place, or the thing that impacts on us. It's not the person, the place, or the thing. It's our thoughts about what they did.
Okay. Yeah.
That puts us back in control.
Right.
Because then we can do something with it. Like my ex-husband, for example, we refer to him as knobhead. He used to trigger me all the time. But it wasn't him triggering me. It was my thoughts about what he did that triggered me.
Yeah.
So it was all me. It was all coming from inside me. It was not, he was just living his life happy, doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And I was sat. That was all me. It was nothing to do with him.
Yeah. So is he still a knobhead then?
Oh, he's always a knobhead. He always will be. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh dear. So let's talk a little bit about overcriticism. Obviously, we've been delving in that a little bit about how we speak to ourselves and how we view ourselves. What things have you got to share about how we criticize ourselves?
One of the things, again, with transactional analysis, when I was talking about the parent, the adult, and the child, is that the criticism will always come from our parent ego state. And what happens is we criticize, and then our younger self picks up on it. Because if we're in our adult, that's very much here and now. That's in the present moment. It's information in, information out.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be in our adult ego state when we're doing self-criticism. We're usually in a much younger place.
Okay.
So it's like our critical parent is having a conversation with our child, and then our child has got two options. They're either rebellious, as in they'll do that, put the fingers up and say, fuck you, I'm doing it anyway, which I would imagine is what you do. When you were saying about, do you know what I mean? I'm not a what ifer, I take action. So
Yeah.
you're in your rebellious child a lot of the time, I would imagine. You tell me I can't do it and I'm going to bloody prove you wrong, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But somebody else might be in their adaptive child where they literally shut down and they won't take any risks and they won't do anything. So that criticism, they'll take it to heart, and it's kind of paralyzing for them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, either one is not good or bad, though, right?
Yeah, no. And again, it depends where we are in that moment. If our state of mind is not in a good place, we're going to be in our child ego state an awful lot, and we're going to take everything to heart. It's going to go in, and it's going to go in deep.
Yeah.
But it can change moment to moment.
Yeah, but it's about understanding it. Like you keep saying, it's about being aware of it. If you're aware of the state that you're in,
absolutely,
and what your response would normally be,
yeah,
then you can think, right, okay, is this the right move?
Yeah. And when I think of it as like an escalator or a lift, it's constantly moving up and down. Our state of mind is just constantly moving. But when we're at the bottom of the escalator, all we can see is this. So we're overwhelmed. Everything's bad. Nothing's good. I'm never going to achieve anything. It's literally all doom and gloom. But as it shifts and we go up, we can see things a lot clearer, and we can make sense of it. Like, it's not that bad. I'm just having a bad day. Or they didn't mean that. Maybe they were having a bad day and it was nothing personal. They didn't mean to hurt me.
Yeah.
But it's constantly shifting.
Yeah.
And it's that understanding for me makes everything seem a little bit less.
Yeah. Overwhelming. See, I say that a lot, there's so many people that one little bad thing will then govern the whole day.
Yeah.
And it's something that it's so hard not to, but if you know that one bad thing could govern your whole day, then you'll then start looking for the good things that have happened.
Yeah.
So, like me the other day, didn't get that meeting. However, I had a good day with other things that I got. I took my kids out for tea, went to the park with them, had so much fun with them. They went the best night ever, watched a movie, got another client for another treatment. So I had all those good things, but that one thing because I wanted it a lot, you know, and normally that's the one thing that you need to happen, or you want it so much.
Yeah.
But you can't let one bad thing, you know, one morning of road rage, you know, one morning of somebody cutting you up in the morning, that's it, my day's crap, that's it,
Yeah.
I hate today, you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people just can't step out of that. Okay, well, maybe that guy cut me up because he's rushing to take his wife to the hospital to have a baby.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You actually then just jump into their shoes at that moment in time.
Yeah.
They may have done what they did because of something quite major.
Yeah.
And then your little bad day, your little bad moment is nothing then.
Yeah. And that's all it is. Often it's a bad moment. And until we give it energy, until we put meaning on that feeling or that thing, then it suddenly becomes bigger. It's us that makes it into something. Because, you know, our thoughts are neutral. All our thoughts are neutral until we give them energy. So saying something like, you know, I'm hungry is exactly the same as saying you've had an affair, until we give one of them energy.
Okay.
And then it becomes a thing, and then it becomes bigger, and we make up a story about it. And how could they do that to me? That was really bad. That hurt me. But a thought it's neutral.
Neutral, it's just a thought.
And, you know, if we look at things from different situations, it's like, I love dogs. I think dogs are absolutely amazing, but I've got a friend that doesn't like dogs. So when we're going for a walk in the park and she sees a dog, she's going to have a completely different reaction to that dog than what I have. So it's nothing to do with the dog. It's her thoughts and my thoughts.
Exactly. So when you say it like that, it's as simple as that when it comes to any life challenges, life hurdles, business moves, lifestyle choices. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. It's our experience and our thoughts about the thing that create everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes right back to that, you know, that inner dialogue and that critical thinking and the comparisons and everything. You know, because I'm going to think completely differently to you about certain situations. You know, I've seen you at fairs where you've got all your, you know, your makeup set out and everything, and you're a fantastic salesperson. That, to me, I can't sell anything. I am shite at selling. Literally. Get me in a room with somebody one-to-one and I can do my stuff, but I'm a therapist, not a salesperson.
Yeah. It's different, isn't it? It's amazing.
Well, your mindset is obviously completely different to what mine is. That's the only difference between me and you, is I have a hell of a lot of limiting beliefs around that. Yeah.
Yeah. Jackie, you've got so much amazing stuff to share.
Oh, thank you.
I think we could like delve deep for like hours.
I'm here all the time.
I'm going to see you next week as well.
I know. Yeah.
I need you to record me a lot, not because I'm vain.
Yeah, you are, and it's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
I need lots of footage.
I'll take you the camera as well.
Awesome. I'm not allowed a PowerPoint display though, and I need that because I go off on a tangent. Maybe I could get you to be like a ring lady, you know.
Literally, do me some cards, and I'll sit on the front seat, and I'll just keep holding them up for you.
Amazing.
I'll do this. No. You'll be bloody amazing. I can't wait.
Oh, good. So, Jackie, any final top tips? I know obviously it's very difficult to kind of like put all this into some like juicy nuggets. But any, like I said, most people that are watching this are trying to break free from what the industry has taught them to do. So basically, we're taught just to kind of like stay under the radar, time for money exchange, not kind of use our skills and knowledge to break free and build more profitable, scalable businesses. Okay. So that is where I am when I coach people. So any kind of top tips that for these people that have got this self-doubt, the overwhelm, the uncertainties, anything that you can help them with?
I think one of the things I would say first is just start to be aware of your thoughts. That's the first thing. Even if you're writing them down, you know, I've even got clients before now to do a tally over how many negative thoughts they're having during the day, how many positive and how many negative, and start to bring things into your awareness, because 99.9% of the stuff we do, we're not even aware that we're doing it. So we're not aware that we're self-sabotaging. Have a plan. We've got our comfort zone, and our panic zone, but there's a thing called a stretch zone in the middle.
Yeah.
So we can push our comfort zone a little bit without it freaking us out. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I would say, is take things in small steps. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And get support from like-minded people.
Yeah, exactly. Like these support groups.
Absolutely. You know, look at your friends and your family. Are they the same thoughts as you? Are they toxic people that you've got in your life that are kind of holding you back? Just take your glasses off and just be more aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Trying to hold that.
Oh, bless your heart.
Just trying to hold it in. Oh, it's so niggly. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. And if you are a regular listener to the podcast, then thank you so much. And if this is the first time you've been watching, then don't forget to go back to the beginning. I've got some amazing guest speakers like Jackie sharing their top tips on their field. But Jackie, it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, girl. Bye for now.
Bye.